back at my old stomping grounds here in Las Terrenas. And I've just spent one night here so far, so I just got back to town. Back to this town. Been in the country for a few days. And my very first impression, well, first of all, I'm exhausted because just the travel, and I also feel, well, for those of you who've been listening along, following along with the past few days since my arrival, the stress of the arrival, the lost luggage, all that. My son's suitcase did arrive last night, finally. So we are complete. We have his luggage. He's happy because he's got some new clothes, so that's all good. And I just completely feel myself decompressing, like all of the stress and the busyness and all the things that I had become, I guess, reaccustomed to being back in the States are now getting to just drain out of me, and that feels wonderful. But I feel like I could just take a nap all day, kind of. In fact, I just lounged a lot this morning. My son got picked up by one of his friends, so he's off, having a good time. He's very excited to see everybody, and did a little schoolwork before he left. And I had a Zoom. He and I actually did a combined Zoom meeting for some stuff for school back at home this morning. And so it's good. It's been really easy and lovely. The place I'm staying is wonderful and very tranquil, which is exactly what I need right now. So, and I haven't gotten a car yet. I'm going to get a car in a couple days, but I want to just have the weekend to just kind of cool out. This time I'll be close to town for now, and I'll be back to another spot that I stay at later. But it's nice to be in. I figured we'll be in town for the weekend, so it's easy to get around. We went last night and had dinner, and then I just passed out for a while. I ended up waking up, and my son and I had a movie night like late at night. So anyway, the point is just kind of readjusting. But as I was walking around this morning, checking out a few places, I just realized how nice it is actually to have the dual lifestyle. I kind of like it, I must say. This was, for those of you who've been following for a while now, you know that what I've been wanting to do, what I've been working on doing, is setting up multiple residences so that I have the benefit of being here in a place like this when I want to be here, like the relaxed tropical vibe and all that comes with that, the easy lifestyle, the fresh food, the fresh fruit, like coming back to friends and seeing people that I've missed, and people like, oh my gosh, we're so glad you're back, and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, I'm taking it really easy this time. I'm not planning on being super busy. I'm not planning on being out and about a whole lot. Certainly not at night. I just want to chill. But it's really nice to come back and have a fresh, hi, I see your message. Yeah, please do email me. That's fine. Hold on. Got a blended drink going on right here. Look. Something. ¿Qué? Melon.
Una mezcla de fruta.
Okay. It's a fruit drink, like fruit punch kind of. So, I don't know how much you can hear me, so I'll wait for a second. But it feels really good. I got a limon, limeade, very refreshing, very little sugar because I don't want a lot of sugar. What was I saying? So I was talking about just coming back and being, like walking around and what I'm noticing. And it just feels really good. It actually feels good to have been gone for a while because now when I come back, it's like, fresh perspective, and I'm like appreciating everything again. As opposed to, of course I like being here full time, but quite honestly, it sometimes it was like, same old thing, drive around the same old loop. It's a really small town, so it's like a loop. You just drive around. It's kind of the same stuff. And while it is beautiful and very enjoyable, it can get, thank you, Jody. Thanks so much. Like any place, it can get tedious if you're just there all the time. And so now, being in California part of the time, I get to take advantage of the work opportunities and professional growth and income increasing, which, all that's really good because then it supports things that I want to do elsewhere. So that's really nice. And it always feels good. Like when I go home to California, people are like, oh, you're back. It just always feels good to have people with their arms open, ready to embrace you and, just be happy to see you. And so it's the same experience here with people that I've known for a long time who are really happy to share time and all of that. But yeah, and of course, like, there's a couple of new things around town. I'm noticing this and noticing that. There's always new changes. Even when you live here, there's always a few changes. Just like in your neighborhood. Oh, somebody opened up a new store. Oh, that's gone or whatever. But I think, I guess what I'm referring to is the benefit. Exactly, the best of both worlds. Yes, B52. What's up? Good morning. No, good afternoon, I guess, depending upon where you are in the world. Brazil. I've never been to South America, sad to say. But I would love to go to Brazil. I don't know much about, I know something about the country, but not in terms of living there. I don't know much about it. But yeah, I'm happy to go. At this point, my son's kind of driving the bus because, he's a school-aged child. He's 12. And so paramount to me is his well-being, his education, and the fact that he can continue to flourish and thrive, which he's absolutely doing at home right now. Is the absolute best decision for both of us to leave here and go back home and let him do what he needs to do. He's doing really well, and he's just he's coming to his own and is really happy, and he's got his friends there and his interests and all that. But it's also he was very excited to come back here and see friends and do the whole thing here. So it's a really nice balance. And I know that there are many people who do this around the world. Snowbirds, they go home, for example, Canadians. A lot of Canadians that come down here during the winter months. So many people are now leaving or have left because it's warming up, and then they'll go spend, part of the year wherever they've come from, and then come back during the winter months. So that's a nice way to do it. And so I am finding my flow with that. But as I'm saying, it's just really nice to be back in the way that I'm back now. And, plus, so I have a place that I stay when I come down here, which is lovely and a great resource that I have, the ability to stay someplace, and it's, it's just the best deal ever. It's a friend of mine who has a place, and I get to stay there. And it's wonderful. But also, if I want to stay, this time we're staying at a little hotel in town for just a few nights. So I get to check out places. So it's kind of like being a tourist again in this place, but I know it, So seeing it with fresh eyes. And so the whole thing about being an expat is that you are experiencing different cultures, and you are experiencing, I'm looking at some of these comments, and you are experiencing life as people from the place you go to are living it. And so, the lady who was serving breakfast this morning where I'm staying was like, haven't you been here before? And I was like, yeah, I haven't stayed here, but I've been there to check it out, right? She's like, I've seen you before. I'm like, yeah, I used to live here, I'm now. She's like, yeah, how have you been? Da, da, da. So it's just lovely. And seeing some of the people go about their jobs, some of the moto drivers, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. And people waving, how have you been? So I really, so there are people, for example, who think that they want to live outside of the country, whether it's the US or Canada or Europe or wherever, but they don't know that they want to give up all the conveniences, or maybe you have a mortgage and that's kind of a difficulty. Let me tell you, the dual lifestyle is fabulous because, like many people, you can rent a place. If you, let's say you leave the country for 6 months, like the winter months, you can. Hi guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I actually feel like I look really tired and everything, but I'll reacclimate. I'll do a video at the end of the visit, and you can see if anything's changed. I look more refreshed then, because I'm feeling like I'm dragging. But thank you so much. So you can tell. I was talking about the dual lifestyle. So you rent your place, for example. First of all, you need to pare down because nobody wants to come live in your house with all your junk in it, right? But you pare down. If you rent a place here, most places come furnished, so you have just enough dishes, you have your linens, you have the basics, and you're super comfortable. And then you go home. So, when I rented a place, this was years ago, I rented a place, well, even here more recently, but when I first came to the DR, I lived in Santiago for about 2-3 months during the summer. The place we rented was lovely, all modern, everything. It had 6 dishes, 6 glasses, 6 or 8 knives and forks, the basics. Pardon me, linens, maybe one change of sheets for each bed, meaning one on, one off. You don't need more than that. And so if you think you might want to do something like this, begin to reduce the amount of clutter and stuff you have in your house. The other thing that happens is people, like for example, if you rent a place here, most owners have like one set of cabinets that they lock, and they put their special linens on it. They don't have sleep pillows, or they want, they have their special whatever it is, like your food processor. You don't want to leave that for visitors, maybe, or whatever it may be. Some toiletries, you don't have to bring all your stuff every time, even some clothes. So you can do that. You can do that with your home in the U.S. You can do that with your home wherever you live. And then while you're somewhere else in the world visiting, you're making money on your place at home. I don't want to say everybody's doing it, but it's definitely catching on. It is a thing to do. It is certainly what I plan to be doing. And it allows you to go and see different places. And that's the thing, is that you can visit, like if you want to come to Las Terrenas, you can come here one time, you can go to Europe, you can go to Africa, you can go to South America, you can do whatever you want to. And while you are visiting, what you're earning potentially can pay for your getaway, which is really wonderful. Okay, well, if you're not into Euro, then look, do you, right? Whatever fits your lifestyle and your point of view. That's why we have a whole big world out there. I'm actually enjoying, so sometimes I was ranting on the French people here because I felt like they were really, not everybody, but first of all, there's a history, of course, of colonialism, not just French and not just here, but all over the world with many people, including Americans. The U.S. has done terrible things. And so I really saw a lot of that, or at least maybe my American perspective and experience caused me to be very much aware of those types of situations here and elsewhere. And so I have several videos where I talked about that, and I was like, this is not okay. And I had a bit of a bias, I think, and I was looking at people a little bit askance, like, I don't know. I'm kind of done with all that, I don't, and it's not that I don't care about equality or equity or, of course I do. I'm a human being, and I want all of us to live well and everything. But, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, tropical beaches, well, there's lots of places in the world for that too. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I am enjoying the diversity of people who are here. The man who is, I guess, I don't know if he's the owner or just the manager. He seems like he's the owner of the place where I'm staying now, is French. He's gorgeous, by the way. And I was like, check him out. And I can practice my French, parce que je parle français aussi. And I took a French class at home to just brush up on it because my French had gotten pretty rusty. But I have people like, your French is really good, Kelly. So now I want to hang out with more French people to practice my French. So that if I want to go live in France for a while or wherever, cool, not only do I speak the language, but then I will have people who say, oh yeah, well, I have a friend who lives over there. This man is from Lyon, which is just south of Paris, or Provence, which is in the south of France. Whatever. I got a friend at home who has some French connections in his family. He's like, Kelly, here's where to go. I was like, Saint-Tropez. He's like, next to Saint-Tropez is another little place, and blah, 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 blah. So my point is, I just feel much more open in a lot of ways to many, many people. And I guess it's a product of just life happening, and I don't know if I'd say maturity, because I don't know that I've matured in another way. I've certainly learned things, and there's some things, I was looking back, like if I were to redo some parts of my life again, I would certainly spend more time abroad earlier. I would have lived abroad much earlier. I would have studied abroad much longer than I did. Certain situations, I would handle differently. You can always look back and go, okay, maybe I would change this or that. But I'm sharing all this just so that if you are considering this, or you have a dream about wanting to live in a part of the world but you don't know how it would be possible, maybe a first step is to just do, you could do a vacation, but to really live there for a while gives you a whole other perspective that you will not have if you're just in a hotel. So, you rent a place for a month, and even an apartment, even if you live in a studio apartment, someplace that you feel like, how can I ever rent this? Look online, look at some, whether it's Pinterest or Airbnb, and get some ideas. You don't need much, a bed with some cute little pillows and comforter, some little cute art on the wall, not too much, a couple of plants, make sure it has some good lighting. If you don't have natural light, put some lighting in there. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but make it look nice, and you would be surprised, and you will find somebody who would feel like, oh my gosh, the place you're living in is a place that they would want to go and spend time, even if they're not coming from out of the States. Maybe they just want to change a pace, even in your same neighborhood, like a staycation, right? Or across town or across the country. So don't count yourself out, and it's really much more doable. I guess ultimately I'm saying it's much more doable than many people think to have this type of experience. this week is my spring break from my job, and I saw somebody mention something about remote work. Absolutely now, like what I kept saying during COVID, I was like, there's silver linings, there's silver linings. I was doing videos during COVID, and of course people were really hurting and complaining and worried, and I was like, no, there's gonna be good stuff that comes out of this. And for me at least, one of the great things has been that we are all now aware that hybrid work is entirely possible. Now, obviously everybody can't do hybrid work. If you have to be on site for a particular type of job, that's another story. But there's probably even ways around that in terms of what job you choose and everything. But for those of us who can immediately be be remote, the world is wide open. And so if you spend, a few weeks or what have you, how do I follow through my professional commitments in Cali? Dating, well, I mean, I can date who I want to, both at home and here. I have someone who's been contacting me from here, well, two people actually from here, who've contacted me consistently since I left and have been in California. One of them, I don't think I want to really see him because it was just too much, frankly. Another one, I'll visit with. I mean, this is just like friends dating right now. I'm not into anything really heavy duty at the moment. And same in California, I can date who I want to date. So that's a good question about how do you manage that lifestyle. If it's more of like a casual type relationship, if it's not a serious commitment, then you have that option. If you spend a month or 2 months or 6 months in one place and 6 months in the other, I mean, that's something that you have to figure out, like how do you want to handle that? If you're married and your partner can't travel, I don't know, you got to figure that out, right? Maybe there's a way your partner can manage to come for part of the time and be with you as they perhaps work out a way to be there longer. I mean, I'm not a genie, I don't have all the answers, but I'm trying to offer you suggestions and possible solutions to help many people think kind of outside of the box, think about what's really possible. And I feel like now more than ever, it is absolutely possible to live this kind of lifestyle. So, as I said, this past week has been my break from work because I work at a university, at a law school. There's a break, and so the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to do remote work. I met with my students in person before I left, and my job doesn't require me to be on campus all the time anyway. So I do have that flexibility. And I chose a profession as a lawyer intentionally. This is years ago before I even was thinking about like specifically what I want to do in life. But I did know I don't want to be stuck at a job every day where I have to be in an office, sitting at a desk. I just was like, that's just not who I am as a person. So choose the type of work that fits your personality, that fits who you are. And it may not be something you can do immediately, but if you start thinking about, okay, I really love to work with animals, or I love to do, work with my hands and do artistic things, or I'm a writer, or whatever it may be, you can begin to think about how you can create that flexibility and that mobility in your life. Because I tell you something, it feels so good to be back here, and wake up and hear the birds. I was sitting outside in a little patio where I am this morning. It's a little finch in the bushes hopping around, like checking me out and everything. And, the fresh fruit. Someone mentioned something about fresh fruit. And, just seeing the palm trees and everything sway, all the green, all the blue, all the things that I loved here before. But it's like, getting to experience it again, almost like for the first time. Similarly, when I go home, I get to do things I love there and see my friends there. And I'll go back to Los Angeles in May and have a whole host of things I'm working on there. I'll be on a volunteer panel to do some mediation, things that just don't exist here for me that I would not be able to do. I would not be able to build my business here in the way that I can there. And when I put out some feelers at home, like boom, right away, people were like, oh yes, we'd like to have you do this. Oh yeah, in fact, I had supposed to be a 4-hour training or orientation yesterday and also tomorrow for some work, and I missed it because just the transit time. And he's like, well, we're gonna have another one in a few weeks. And I was like, you know what? Thank God, because I don't want to spend 8 hours of my time here when I'm chilling doing that. I mean, I'm very happy to participate. You see what I'm saying? It's like things just work out. Simple remote work from the States, plenty of work. They'll pay you $50K minimum. Okay, so just listen, you have to do your research. I did my research before I came here. I'm still doing my research. I have already begun to think about how can I pivot from doing just a certain type of work to something that is, one, portable. I've got to be portable. I cannot just have to be in one place all the time. Portable work that I can do online, at least sometimes, maybe not always online, So I'm a mediator, right? I mediated for the EEOC, which is a federal employment agency in the U.S. for about 4 years. Hi from Bacardi Island. Sounds like Puerto Rico. Bacardi, I don't know. Sounds like fun though. Hi, Danny. And so I began to think about, all right, in fact, when I was living here full time, I did a mediation on a conference call from here to the U.S. for a former client who called me back, and actually I'm working with her again now. So there are many things that while at first glance they may not seem like they are conducive to remote working or even remote living, but you can tweak them. And if you build yourself as an expert in cross-border transactions or international living or whatever, then people will seek you out. And that's exactly, so I'm setting myself up now for the next step, right? It's not instantaneous. I do not have all the answers, as I said, but I'm like, okay, what do I have? I have certain skills, I have certain experience, there's certain things I like to do. Okay, levantado. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going there soon with another girlfriend of mine is arriving tomorrow and we're gonna hang out. So she hasn't been, so I'll probably take her there. So I'm beginning to see how I can be more flexible, even with the lifestyle that I already have, which is wonderful. So my son, as you know, has already been educated abroad in part. So that flexibility exists. How much more he wants to do overseas, I don't know. But the next couple of years, we've committed to him being at home, which is fine. Again, that allows me to build my business there. And then, as I'm building in the U.S., I'm building credibility for whatever else I do out in the world. So you see what I'm saying? It works. So expats or future expats or part-time expats, just find a way to make it work for you. Okay? So that's it. I was on my way to exchange some money, but the place was closed. So I'm just sitting here having a little refreshment, enjoying the breeze. I'm totally free. Oh my God, like my child is off with his friends. Awesome. So I think I'm gonna do this and then like go take a nap or go in the pool or something. I'm not even like, let me rush to the beach. I don't feel any rushing of any sort that I need to do. I feel perfectly at ease. I feel just, yeah, super peaceful and happy and glad to be here, but also not like, oh no, I have to leave, it's gonna be bad. You know what I mean? Like I completely see the benefit of both sides of what I'm doing. So I hope that helps somebody out there today. Feel like they can also create that type of a shift if that's what's desired. Otherwise, that's it. I'll check in with you guys later on, okay? Have a good one. Bye.